We're back, and we're back with a taste for road course racing. It's Thursday Night Thunder from iRacing's Sonoma Raceway. I'm Rick James, joined by repeat 1975. My man Pete, welcome to Sonoma. This is going to be a great and confusing welcome back for the Thursday Night Thunder series.
Yeah, Rick James, great to be back, y'all. When I saw you send out the information earlier on Twitter and all the hype that was around it, I just had to come out to old Napa Valley, watch all 17 of these cars, ARCA cars for that fact, try to get it done, and man, it's going to be one hell of a race. Looking forward to it. Thanks for having me. Rick, who you got tonight? I tell you what, Aiden Norman looks to be bad fast so far.
The Thursday Night Thunder rookie in that 62 Intrepid lines up next to four-time Thursday Night Thunder winner Cody Pennell. Headed into this hairpin, the drivers are going to be coming with fury, but with patience as well. You've got to look out for two-time champion Tom Sears, who's going to be starting just in that fourth position there. Of course, one of those bluegrass bandits, Briley Wright in the 18, also brings a lot of expertise, but even a sneak winner might get into the fray. Tommy Withers in that 6 AC Delco machine looking to make some moves. Pete, we're about to go racing from Sonoma. Aiden Norman on the pole, waiting for the signal. Green flag is out. Let's go road course racing.
Green flag's out. 28's going to be able to get on that throttle first and control the rest of the line. 62 back in P number 2 right now. If he can stop the bleeding early, it shouldn't be too hard for him to take that top spot back and maybe kind of get away just a little bit. But so far, so good up the two hills.
Cody Pennell leading, Aiden Norman, Noah Belleville sitting in that third position with double champion Tom Sears behind him. The 41 GoDaddy Impala dives down into what they call the chute here. And then take a look at the number 99 Super Flow Chevrolet. That's Al Simkowski bringing a little bit of cold trickle vibes into this fifth round.
Yeah, definitely really nice looking number 99. Instead of the traditional Super Flow that colors that we've seen on Days of Thunder, a little bit of pink and white, not too shabby looking.
Terry Gabbard rounding out the top 10 in this first lap of competition behind the Bobby Labonte liveried number 20 Grand Prix. John Honeybrink gives it a bit of a wiggle headed into the hairpin, and there's two cars going around behind him. Briley Wright, Terry Gabbard, Ryan Pennell avoids all of that. Caution number 1 on lap number 1 in Sonoma.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Just as they got to the end of lap number 1, close to the hairpin, caution came out after one car looks like it was between, as you said, Briley Wright and Terry Gabbard, just a little loose. Able to correct it. Some people able to get by, others not so much.
Terry Gabbard still bouncing off of the tires in that final turn. Turn 12 or turn 10, depending on however you count it. But the hairpin is where Gabbard gets hung up. Let's have a look and see what happened. This is coming into the hairpin. Pete? Looks like the 4 just getting loose, possibly trying to avoid John Honeybrink. Have another look. It seems like the exit of the corner might have had something to do with that, Pete.
Yeah, it really just got loose coming around the corner. It doesn't look like he got much of the rumble strips, just too much wheel or something. I don't know. 18 slightly gets tagged. 12 barely scrapes on by. 4 with the most amount of damage.
On board with Greensburg, Kentucky's Briley Wright in the NOS Camry. He gets clipped hard by the 4. Have a look on board Ryan Pennell here, Pete. This guy's going to make some good moves.
Yeah, right through. Man, just squeaky clean. Ugh. Yeah, it hurts to watch it.
One more look on board. Northern California's Ryan Pennell, the Tahoe driver, avoids that accident, and Ryan earns the race's first cold trickle move of the race.
Ice cream!
So the first caution comes out on lap number 1. Can only go uphill from here. If you've recently tuned in, I'm Rick James with repeat 1975 by my side. Good Hope, Georgia's Cody Pennell leads the way. Lights are out on the pace car, so we're going green next time by. Aiden Norman, the rookie, sits in second. Noah Belleville, another Thursday Night Thunder rookie, sits in third. And then it's experience all the way down. Tom Sears, Jeremy Brio in the Mikosuke ride. Then you've got Al Simkowski in sixth. Defending champion Thomas Andrews in seventh, Pete. Early on for him. And what's the move here, Pete? Because it's got to be more than just patience. You have to attack sometime.
Oh, yeah, you definitely got to attack, and most of the time it's going to be coming off the corner. You can only let up, so much getting in, but you really got to watch just how much throttle you're putting down. Like we just saw a moment ago, a guy just maybe a little too eager on that throttle pedal, Rick, and it comes back to what we've talked about, whether it's here or a year or more back. Patience and concentration with just a little bit of babying. We got to pretend like old DW used to say, like there's an egg under your pedal and you don't want to crush it.
Ricky Rudd, one of the masters of the heel-toe technique that you'd see here often. Drivers using all their skills and all their mechanics to get around this incredibly difficult racetrack. Cody Pennell will lead the way, waiting for that flag through the first corner. Rookie Aiden Norman filling up the space behind the 2-8 Thunderbird. Green flag is out. Let's go racing. Up the hill they go. Pete, Cody Pennell just ahead of the 6-2 using all of the racetrack. Norman now down to his inside. Everybody makes it clean through one.
Yeah, 28 when he came up the hill. I'm guessing he had carried just a little bit too much speed. 62 hit the apex and the throttle perfectly because he's got that inside. He's going to have the preferred line. 28 and that GoDaddy car side by side with old Tom Sears right behind.
Off the curb, down into the chute, Aiden Norman leading the procession into this long double apex, into the S's section, 2x2 with Cody Pennell. Noah Belleville down the inside as well, and watch them snake down through these corners, Pete.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was watching practice. I was watching the 74 of Jeremy Briol, the 62 of Norman, the 28 of Pennell, and a few others. The way that they were hustling and sliding these cars around, watching the wheels rock back and forth, whether it's looking into the windshield or just watching the tires. Man, these guys were absolutely wheeling it as they come to complete lap number 4.
Defending champ Thomas Andrews giving the tires a bit of a light up into the hairpin. Here comes Salem, South Carolina's Jason Alexander, tugging on the cape of the defending champion. John Honeybrink also in tow in that 20 car. Back up to the leaders, Aiden Norman, Noah Belleville now on his outside. Noah Belleville trying to hold off Cody Pennell, and the rookie sits in the second position. Here comes the Georgian behind him, Pete.
Yeah, I know that we haven't ran too many laps under green, 1.5, 2.5 laps or so, working lap 5 right now. But how about Aiden Norman just putting up the fastest lap, and rightfully so. He's sitting up in the lead. He's got the entire track to himself. Long way before we start to see any kind of lap traffic. This is really where he needs to try to excel and get away. Noah Belleville and Cody Pennell will have to see if they've got something for him as the night rolls on.
The 8-4 of Josh Garrison in his Toyota Camry running behind Tahoe's Ryan Pennell, running through these S's. There goes Belleville and the procession behind them. Here comes Thomas Andrews with Jason Alexander in tow. Greensburg, Kentucky's another one of those bluegrass bandits. How about this AC Delco number 3 Monte Carlo? Cody Riggs holding Briley right behind him, and here comes the local flavor, Ryan Pennell, all into the hairpin.
Yeah, all into the hairpin. You see the 3 AC Delco car lock it up just a little bit. Nice little Dale Jr. throwback. All that car is missing is Superman on the hood. And you're talking about pulling on capes. How's that old one go? You don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't spit in the wind, something like that. Yeah, there you go.
Riley Wright spins it by himself through the first corner. We stay green. He gets off the racing surface. Cody Riggs in the 3 keeps it moving with Ryan Pennell just behind them, and these drivers trying to avoid any other calamity. Here comes champion Thomas Andrews with Honeybrink behind him. Cody Riggs, Ryan Pennell safely up that hill. Riley Wright rejoins the racing surface in 14th, Pete. Let's have a look. The 18 just spilled his drink and won.
Yeah, that NOS Energy drink, all kinds of banged up on the front. The can's definitely been cracked. It looks like it's actually his second time he's had some kind of an issue so far. Oof.
There goes Riley Wright, just a big hit there, and he keeps it moving in that first corner. Aiden Norman, it leads the race. The rookie in front right now. Noah Belleville in second by 1.8 seconds, and then Cody Pennell, he comes into this race in a tight points battle, Pete. He sits just a few points behind Tom Sears, going for his 3rd championship this season. Dustin Painter and Cody Pennell deadlocked for second in those points.
Tell you what, you look at Aiden Norman and Noah Belleville. Belleville just went ahead and put up a 1:18.1. The previous fastest lap was a 1:18.7 by Aiden Norman. So these guys swapping fastest laps over and over again. Not a bad lap at all by Belleville. That's faster than what we saw in qualifying and in practice. So hey man, when all the chips are on the table and you gotta perform, that's when you do it the best.
The rookie showing very good intent early on in the 41. GoDaddy Impala sitting in the 2nd position, just ahead of the most successful driver over the last 9 weeks of TNT. Cody Pennell gives it a bit of a shake out the exit of the S's. Tom Sears behind him in the 213simware.com Supra. He's got the Pennsylvanian Jeremy Brio right up his back trumpet. Everybody makes it through out of the hairpin for now, Pete. Terry Gabbard falling off the racing surface once again, and it's a struggle for the Ohio native.
Yeah, you're keeping an eye on Tom Sears there just a moment getting into the hairpin. You saw him have to lock him up and actually rock the wheel back and forth almost like it was a real-life passenger car, trying very, very hard not to rear-end the 28. So good job by all involved. Way to keep the cars clean. Able to move on for yet another lap. You see the 28 get a little wicked loose trying to get into the braking zones.
Definitely the biggest struggle for Good Hope Georgia's Cody Pennell at the very beginning of this season. And shaking the rust off is one thing, Pete, but coming to a racetrack where you have to turn left and right with these weight-dependent race cars is I wouldn't say a trial by fire, because these are some very, very experienced drivers, but it's not the easiest of comebacks.
Oh, no, not at all. It's one hell of a track to come back to, and as you said, knock the dust off. Look at his 3 wide coming off the corner. 28's going to be able to prevail.
Right into that hairpin. There goes the 74. Jeremy Brio to the inside line. He's going to hold off Tom Sears, and he makes it through. Cody Pennell sits in 5th, Sears in 4th. Put Pennsylvania's Jeremy Brio now into the 3rd position. Tommy Withers has crashed in the 6th. Let's see what's gone on with the Virginian. Something went wrong in the AC Delco machine. Looking like that Johnny Sauter Busch car, the Kevin Harvick Busch car. Let's see what happened here to the Virginian. Just gets it locked up, and he goes for a 1-car spin at the base of that 2nd hill, Pete.
Yeah, but he was able to keep it going off track, kind of waited for, make sure that nobody else was coming, grabbed the gear, got out of the sand, and kept her moving.
Jason Alexander briefly falling off the track, the South Carolinian in that 5.6 Mopar Charger. Having a good run so far, 8th out of 17 drivers currently running in this event, but at the front, Aiden Norman now has a challenge. Noah Belleville has come to fight for the top spot.
Yeah, the last time I was talking about Noah Belleville, I mentioned that he had just run the fastest lap, which still stands at a 1:19.1. Aiden Norman's fastest lap still at 1:19.8. That 14 has been coming. Time for GoDaddy to take the lead at some point here, and I don't think the 62 can hold him off for very long.
Headed into that first corner, Norman leads Belleville. Now up the hill, the 6-2 has the advantage. Belleville follows him, trying to put that lime green bumper under the shadow of that rear wing. Tommy Withers, like the gentleman he is, moves over and lets the leaders battle up into that second hill, Pete. 6-2, 4-1, top two, headed towards the chute.
Yeah, these guys, I'll tell you what, these guys are running some bad, fast laps here, Rick. The top, what is this, top 5 right now, all went in 118s, 119s. For the next 5 or 6 cars, all 121s, 122s. Only the tail end, some of the guys that have a little bit of damage running in the 123s. But 123s for ARCA cars, these things can be a handle. They don't have a whole lot of power. You know, they are very, very sketchy under braking. These drivers doing one hell of a job here on the TNT series.
Tommy Withers getting going once again, back to the front. There goes Aiden Norman. Noah Belleville follows him. Jeremy Brio, 4 seconds off of these two drivers. Belleville showing restraint. And there goes Ryan Pennell. The Tahoe native goes for a spill, but he saves it. Coming out of the chute, Pete, have a look, and you better believe he's got no fry grease on those hands. He's loving the fact that he's still in this race. Here goes Pennell. He's got the 8-4 of Josh Garrison behind him coming through turn 7. And a tag, and around goes Pennell. It's right on board with this, Pete, but how about that save?
Great save, great save. I think he might have got a little bit of help, pushing that front end along. Otherwise, he might have gone all the way around. But as I look at that, as I look at the 28, doesn't really seem like he's got a whole lot of damage. So he'll be able to motor on. He was bad fast in qualifying. He's down 3 spots, but still doing all right.
Ryan Pennell going around again, this time in the hairpin as we were watching that replay, Pete. The Tahoe native into that final corner. Does he give it too much gas? And it looks like he does give it too much gas. And Pete, I was trying my hand at this track earlier. This is a problematic racetrack. It is so hard to get a groove and just even keep your car from spinning out, as we just saw Pennell do.
Oh yeah, these things are really, really loose. There's a lot of people that actually swear by this ARCA series, saying that these cars are the most fun to drive, and that the key word there is drive, because they say these cars are a real driver's car. These things aren't easy to maneuver whatsoever. I'm seeing a lot of cars really coming up and over those rumble strips. Some rumble strips are going to be a little bit more forgiving than others. I'm seeing some of these guys getting completely airborne.
Defending champion Thomas Andrews is smooth. He's up to the 7th position so far. Josh Garrison up 8 places from where he started. He's making the attack on the inside of Jason Alexander. Forces the South Carolinian to make way. The 8-4 of Garrison now up 9 places. He's got the best handle on the car so far, Pete. Give us a lap around Sonoma on board with Garrison.
Yeah, coming up off just past the start stripe, coming off and off of the first hill. You really got to back it down right here. You get wicked tight. You want to try to keep it out of the sand. Get back in the throttle as soon as you possibly can and get set up for the next left-hander. Also going uphill, same as the first. You want to make sure that you're not too tight. Maybe dial back a little bit of brake bias if you find as the race goes on that you're getting tighter and tighter. Use a little bit of these rumble strips to help kind of propel yourself off, as long as your car is not too loose. One more right-hand turn, as you said, to prepare yourself for the S's. Use the left, use the right, and come on down. You're going to be able to use a whole lot of slide in these in the tires coming down this hill. You want to make sure you're not carrying too much speed. Maybe just tap the brake pedal once or twice. You don't really have to get on it until you get right back fully on the throttle just after this turn here. Come on down, get on the brakes, prepare for a very, very tough right-hand turn, very slow, only about 60 mile an hour off. Get ready to baby that throttle, maybe go up to second gear. Come on off, prepare for the lap completion, and come across that start stripe.
You make it sound so easy. That's a lap around Sonoma. Josh Garrison still in the 8th position. Kentucky's Cody Riggs falling off the track, but he keeps it moving in the right direction. Tristan Catania rounding out the top 10 right now for the New Jersey driver. It's been a good run for him headed into this 5th round in this 5th season. Catania running 17th in the point standings right now. This could be the turnaround for his season, Pete. We're only a quarter of the way into the season.
Yeah, sitting 10th place right now, and as I think you just said, up 4 spots since qualifying. And we've had the one caution, but I believe the caution actually happened behind him. So every spot that he's made up so far was more than likely by passing other cars, keeping it on the track, minimizing his mistakes, and really just trying to attack, as you said earlier, Rick, and finding all the right spots to do it. Now back up front.
Aiden Norman in the 6-2, Jeremy Brio in the 7-4 behind him. This the battle for the 2nd position. Leader Noah Belleville's not immune from any of this. Terry Gabbard has had an incident. The number 4 Busch Chevrolet into the wall once again. This is going into the hairpin, Pete. Have a look and see what happened to the Ohio native.
If I had to guess before it plays, I'm going to guess just a little bit too much speed because it's a straightaway right there. You see him downshifting by the flames out the tailpipe. Yeah, too much speed. Either that or he saw some faster cars coming up behind him and just being respectful, having some integrity and letting those guys go. They obviously caught him for a reason.
Jeremy Brio all over the back end of Aiden Norman, really testing both of these rookies. Tom Sears, the 2-time champion, watching in the distance, saving his stuff. We're 14 laps into the 50-lap event. 4-1, 6-2, 7-4, your top 3. A bit of a shake for Jeremy Brio. And Pete, that's where a lot of drivers might have trouble, is being gentle with the throttle out of that hairpin corner.
Oh yeah, you have to be. I mean, because that wall on the opposite side comes up very, very fast. You can't carry a whole lot of speed through there, and you really can't use the right rear to try to get that backside to slide out. You've got to absolutely take it easy. And Rick, I tell you what, I've been watching that 74 and the 14 and a few others. They've caught the 2 lead cars and reeled them in pretty quick fashion.
It's a tight race at the front, but still no reason to rush. Plenty of drivers have a lot left. Jason Alexander's one of those drivers who might have been using a bit too much of his race car. This is on the previous lap. The 56 goes for a nice drift up into the 2nd hill, and there he goes for just a little bit more. Keeps it all on the racetrack and gives the fans a show. He's gone off track once more. This is on this current lap, Pete. Just a bit too hot up the hill. And maybe the South Carolinians just losing a little bit of patience. Incredibly talented driver, and he's in a tight battle right now for 9th.
Yeah, tight battle for 9th with I believe that's, who is that right behind him right now?
Tristan Catania.
There you go. Yeah, Tristan. I should have seen the ARCS colors on the hood, but I think his tires might just be overheated from all the sliding around that his ARCA car's been doing. But hey, able to hold on to it. And I think Tristan might have cut him a little bit of a break too, trying to come back up on track and did not want to get caught up in any kind of a wreck.
Belleville, a half second or less ahead of Aiden Norman. Jeremy Brio still in the distance, but Tom Sears now looking to take advantage of that. Here comes Cody Pennell in the 2-8 Thunderbird. He's had a resurrection of sorts. He fell down outside of the top 3 on the fringes of the top 5, but he may have just been saving his stuff, getting some time to himself, and it's still a good run for him. His rival in the points directly next to him, Dustin Painter, needs a bit of a resurrection himself in this 5th round, but anything is still possible. We're well before the halfway mark. Thomas Andrews, the defending champion, is a bit further down into the running order, sitting in 8th. But it looks like drivers are getting their groove now, Pete. Things are starting to just spread apart a bit more, and now we're seeing the effect of tire wear kick in.
Yeah, 28, I tell you what, after some early issues, a little bit of contact, able to regroup, come back, concentrate on his lines, and as you said, he's working his way back in, and it looks like we're starting to see the first of our leaders come on down pit road at 62 of Aiden Norman. He's fueling up.
He's down, he's stopped, and Noah Belleville will now extend his lead with a big exit out of turn number 7, and there goes a 7-4 of Brio, who gives a wide tail whip out of that corner and into the chute. Tom Sears behind him, and we were just mentioning the tires starting to wear. Pete, there's a big slide out of the 74, and Brio might just be going down to the cords.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of cars come off that corner, and everybody has come across those rumble strips slideways, Rick. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You got to try to carry as much speed off that corner as you can, and with that large runoff over there, you can do it. But if you hit all of those rumble strips sideways, man, I cannot guarantee you're going to be able to control your car each and every time, as the 74 is under heavy fire by the 14.
Here comes the 20 of John Honeybrink as well. That Interstate Batteries Pontiac sitting in 14th right now, one lap off the pace, but the first car one lap down. So if the yellow does come out, Honeybrink will get that lucky dog. Briley Wright in lucky number 13th position. The 18 NOS Camry sits 4 seconds behind his Kentucky compatriot, if you will, Cody Riggs, in that sweet AC Delco machine. He can see Ryan Pennell up ahead in the distance. Pete, it's all about the top two, though. You've got Jeremy Brio in the 7-4 and Tom Sears right behind him. Experience versus a little bit of a heavy right foot. Is Brio, I'm not a driver, Pete. I can't tell you that it's a smart thing to stay out, however. I've seen him slide around, and he's playing with fire at this point.
Oh, yeah, he's been throwing that thing around just like I saw him do in practice. Before I saw Aiden Norman go on out there, put down his qualifying lap, and be able to start on pole, I was thinking the 74 was going to be the man to beat. He's just been throwing it all night long, and yeah, he's gonna continue on. But like you said, tires have got to be worn. But if he can hold on to this car and make sure that he's still able to hit all of his marks, able to have that much throttle time, he should do all right. Some of these places on this track, very, very tricky. If you overextend it, you're going to have a problem. It looks like the 18 is going to go around.
And there goes Tom Sears, who just gave him a hey, how you doing, out of the corner. Briley Wright still in that dirt, and he keeps it moving. Let's see what happened there. Was it a little bit of a slip from the 18, or was the 14 just impatient with that NOS Toyota?
It kind of looked like a little bit of a double tap. Let's see.
Just a little bit of a shake out of the corner there. Let's have one more look with Briley Wright. He just fell right off the racetrack, didn't he? And a love tap from the 1-4. I don't know if the 18 got loose or what happened there, but the wheels keep on turning. And how about fastest lap for Aiden Norman, 1:17.5 seconds. The 6-2 is in 5th with those fresh tires he picked up just 3 laps ago. He's now on the hunt. Al Simkowski's up ahead in the Superflow machine.
I tell you what, that could be the smartest thing that Aiden Norman could do all night. If he can come out and run these laps where he's not worried about Belleville, Brial, Tom Sears or Zimkowski or any of those other faster guys right behind him, where he could just hit his marks, run his race, deal with some lap traffic if he has to. But these 4 brand new Eagle Feel Goods and that topped off tank could serve him very, very well as he gets on by the 99 Superflow machine.
You just saw Norman get around the inside and get that 5th position away, but you also saw John Honeybrink have a crash. Let's take a look at the Interstate Batteries Pontiac. Oh, this is well after the fact. That's Cody Pennell getting around him. Have a look, Pete. He's headed up the hill, and he's even wrecked before this, Pete. He's had a terrible last few laps. Have a look at the 18 one more time. This is into the hairpin now.
All right, so far right there, the front left looks like it's still pretty much intact. Downshifting. You see the flames coming out the side. Little Tight's going to grab the edge of the tire wall, which is going to grab him just a little bit, and it skewed that Interstate Batteries machine a little bit more than it already was. He's bringing it into the pits.
Noah Belleville remains in the lead. Jeremy Brio 1 second behind him. Tom Sears sits in third. Aiden Norman 21 seconds off the pace of third place. Tom Sears exits that final corner 3 seconds off of Jeremy Brio. And then it's just big gaps all the way down while the running order waits to come down into the pits, Pete. Top three have not pitted, and then you've got drivers that did and have not come in, just popped through the running order.
What's kind of interesting, though, watching the times for Aiden Norman, right now they're coming down, but they're staying right about that 25-second mark before this sudden decline right there. He really wasn't gaining any time on Belleville, Brial, or Sears, or any of those other guys. They were actually staying pretty consistent, and you got to wonder just how important these Eagle Feel Goods are on these ARCA cars earlier in the run, or is it just going to be what you grab onto a little later? Is 62 wicked loose coming into the first couple turns before the S's.
And it's not like he doesn't have heat in those tires. He did give it a big shake into the S's here. Cody Pennell also briefly went off track. Jeremy Brio gets around Noah Belleville. Here they are into the hairpin. Fight for the lead to complete lap 21. Belleville able to hold on to that one. Have another look into the hair. Well, let's stay with these two real quick before we have another look at that attempt. Belleville holds on to the lead. Brio trying to make that line as wide as possible. Still has not come down pit road, and he's making those tires hold on for dear life. Have another look into the hairpin, Pete. It looks like Brio gave it a bit of a slide himself, but he was just able to get to the inside of Belleville.
Yeah, he's got the he's got those rumble strips holding on the right side, maybe a little bit of contact to the left. And yeah, that GoDaddy machine able to hold on to the lead. But this 74, he is just all the way, as you always say, Rick, up his trumpet everywhere around this place, just trying to worry him to death. Maybe give him a little bit of, just meant to rattle his cage, not wreck him. We'll have to see.
Brio sitting in second, 7/10 off of the pace. Tom Sears now 3 seconds behind him. Aiden Norman still 20 seconds off the mark. Brio briefly goes off track. He's got a big slide. There goes the 74, crashing directly into the pits, slams into the barrier, and the pit lane entrance is obstructed. Nobody can get in. Brio puts it in reverse. Tom Sears also crashes, watching Jeremy Brio head into the pits, and Brio is still backwards, turned around in pit lane, now just trying to get that race car desperately turned around, Pete. We stay green. Tom Sears has his car back in the right direction with Ryan Pennell behind him. Let's have a look at Jeremy Brio. He just lost it out of the S's.
Yeah, for a second there when I watched him come on down the closer to the entrance of pit road, as you're seeing right there, I thought when he lost it and he had the car pointed the right way, he was just going to be able to take advantage of it and come on down pits. No, that's going to cost him a lot of time and very, very possibly even a lap as long as this track is. So 74's got a lot of damage, Rick, just now getting to his pit stall.
Jeremy Brio finally comes down to a halt in the pits. And this, again, there's just no way to put it. It's going to cost him an exorbitant amount of time. And Brio, not only does he have to wait in the pits, he now has to get that damage repaired. And now, what will that cost him? Thargrove in the chat says, almost saved it, too. And he did. He had a great handle of it. Let's ride on board the 74, Pete.
Let's go.
This is out of the S's here, and it's a shame. He's carrying all the speed in the world, and you can see he's just trying to hold on to it. And I tell you what, the wall really did reach out and grab him, didn't it?
Yeah, it really did, but you know what? The wall may have actually saved him as well. That could have been a lot worse coming up out of the dirt. He could have come across the track and smashed that inside wall. So while it hurt him some, it might have also saved him a little bit too. Kind of caught him on the left rear.
And there you see Tom Sears. He went for a skid. Sears yet to come down pit road on this 24th lap of competition. 5.5 seconds the difference between him and Noah Belleville at the front. There you see the gap over the last 5 laps. And this truly is one of the most experienced Thursday Night Thunder drivers now chasing down a rookie in his first full-time season. Belleville recently putting Tristan Catania a lap down. That leaves 9 race cars on the lead lap, while we still wait, Pete, for 7 of those race cars to come down for tires and fuel.
Yeah, you see Briot with that in that 74 sitting P number 9, 1 minute 11 seconds behind. He's got a fast car. He just has to really be consistent, try to do what he can to work his way back up. There's going to be a lot of cars that are in front of him. He'll be able to get on by. It looks like he was able to fix up most of that damage. So, yeah, we'll have to kind of keep an eye on his progress as these next 25 laps go on.
Jason Alexander sitting just ahead. Tall Bag of Milk in the chat says, "Let's go Sears," cheering for his friend Tom Sears. And fans, if you've just recently tuned in, don't forget we're giving away a Denny Hamlin die cast tonight. Enter code !TNT giveaway 5 for your chance to win that number 11 Denny Hamlin throwback die cast. You can check it out on Rick James TV Twitter or on Thursday Night Thunder Twitter. Ryan Pennell recently going around 1 lap ago in the Tahoe native, Pete, not having the best run. Let's have a look. And this could be a product of his internet letting him down. This is Pennell. Is this headed into the pits? Oh, he just had a couple of heavy blinks getting into those cones. Ooh. He's all right, thankfully, but hopefully the internet connection lasts for Ryan. He needs a good finish today.
Yeah, I'm kind of liking this. This looks like a Jamie McMurray throwback. Old golden arches on the hood, looking pretty nice, except for the whole Dodge thing. But yeah, kind of digging this car.
The Dodge headlights, the Impala taillights, and Ryan says he's running all Casey Kane paint schemes in this 5th season of Thursday Night Thunder, and he's from the area. Ryan spending his whole life in Northern California, and in the mid-90s he got his first taste of NASCAR, coming to see his favorite driver Jeff Gordon win race after race at the Sonoma Raceway. Shout out to the folks in Tahoe, shout out to the Pennell family. Ryan making a go of it just on the fringes of the top 10. Briley Wright had an incident 1 lap ago, Pete. Let's have a look. This is again out of the exit of the S's.
Yeah, again, that one zone where you're very, very fast, you're hard on the throttle, and you got to prepare for that corner. You see the flames, again, coming on down. Rick, that looks like it might be just a little bit of wheel hop.
Wheel hop, that power just going through the back end, Pete. And for some that might not know, what exactly is wheel hop that causes these cars to snap around?
Yeah, absolutely. Basically, wheel hop is getting down through the gears before your car is slow enough to actually catch up with how fast you're going. So the cars actually bounce along the ground just like a basketball, and it causes you to lose control of the rear end, and very possibly comes around on you.
Speaking of bouncing, these S's are just torture for these drivers, and the weight that sloshes around these race cars so much. There goes Briley Wright, big crash through the S's, and the Kentucky driver has had it. 1 lap after another, the 18 just losing everything. He can't even drive the race car. That's going to cause him to jump to the pits, Pete. What happened to Greensburg's Briley Wright? Look at that.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate for that 18. He's going to definitely have to tow. Wow, hard into that inside wall. Again, tires and wall. That little mixture right there did not work. And with the new damage model that iRacing came out with, you see the front is just completely destroyed. No chance to go anywhere.
Noah Belleville decides to come down into the pits on lap 25. We've officially hit halfway now, and he will rejoin the racing order in the 3rd position, 12 seconds off the pace of Aiden Norman. Thomas Andrews getting overtaken by Jeremy Brio, who moves into the 7th position. Brio now working on Josh Garrison, who's up 11 places, while Cody Pannell is working on Chicago's Al Simkowski, the Superflow Impala versus the Texaco Thunderbird through the SSP.
Yeah, it really looks like half of the field has now come down pit road. One person that hasn't. Tom Sears still in the lead, and he's got a good 14-second gap back to Aiden Norman, another 26 back to Noah Belleville. So it'll be interesting to see once Tom Sears comes on down pit road just how much time Aiden Norman has made up. But now Aiden Norman will have to make another pit stop. We are past halfway, 23 laps to go. It looks like Tom Sears has a very well-established plan to just pit one time.
If he can make this a one-stopper, it would be fantastic for his points lead, as his rivals not doing as well as the standings would have you believe. Cody Pannell currently running in the 4th position. A great run, but certainly not a second-place run by any means. Dustin Painter running 15th at the moment. He sits tied for 2nd in the points. Then you look down to Thomas Andrews, the defending champion. He's in 6th. Jeremy Brios had an incident, the 7-4, spinning up through turn number 1.
Yeah, 74 looks like he's got a little bit of damage to the right-hand side, but still that Mikosuke number 74 able to push on, going up looks like hill, the second hill. Going to try to maintain, staying right behind that number 2 Thursday Night Thunder Chevy.
Thomas Andrews behind that 74, looking for any opportunity to make the overtake. Cody Pannell getting around the 1-2 of Ryan Pannell. Cousin Cody, 6 seconds behind Noah Belleville. Tom Sears still has not come down pit road over the last 5 laps. There you see Aiden Norman has been quicker than Sears by 0.3, 1 second. Almost no difference on lap 26, but look back to lap 25, Pete. 0.4, 0.2 of a second. Norman chewing up big chunks of time, and the gap now 14 seconds between the 2-time champion and the rookie.
Yeah, between those 4 or 5 laps, an easy 2 seconds off of Tom Sears' time. Aiden Norman's still on the freshest tires. I mentioned that he came on down pit road on lap 16. 14's going to come down pit road right now, Rick.
Cody,
3 cars around, heavy damage.
Heavy damage to the 3 of Cody Riggs. He comes down pit road. The 14 of Sears, he comes down right after the Greensburg native has his accident. That leaves South Carolina's Jason Alexander, who has not come down. Tristan Catania's had a crash as well as John Honeybrink. Aiden Norman gives a big tail whip out of the hairpin. Now racing through that final corner. Norman in the 62 ahead of Catania in the 48. Aiden Norman now takes the race lead as Tom Sears getting his tires put on. Noah Belleville will now take 2nd place. He's 10 seconds behind Aiden Norman, but don't forget the laps and the difference on these tires. Norman came down on lap 16, Noah Belleville on lap 25, Cody Pannell pitted on lap 28, and Tom Sears, now pitting on lap 29, has the freshest tires of any driver, Pete. We're going to have to do some quick math when they get these fast laps in, but it's going to be the 22-second gap of Aiden Norman at the front of this race versus the 13-lap difference in tire wear.
Yeah, Tom Sears, I mean, you see him right now with about 21, almost 22 seconds behind the leader, Aiden Norman, Noah Belleville, Cody Pannell, Tom Sears, and Jeremy Briol. Cody Pannell and Noah Belleville kind of in the mix there. But Tom Sears really didn't lose that much of a difference or that many spots. I thought more people would be able to get on by because they pit so much earlier. Not so much. That just goes to show how consistent Tom Sears was until he brought that machine down pit road.
The 6-2 of Norman. His gap now reduced to 9.3 seconds. Noah Belleville really trying to claw that position. And there, when you sort it by position, you can see the gap greater than 9 seconds. Belleville trying to really get just a bit closer and a bit closer. 9.2 seconds, the gap between them. There is where you see battle for first in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. The top 4 all separated by time. And it's going to be an interesting battle here over these next few laps just to see who's going to manage their tires the best. And it always comes down to that, Pete. It always comes down to tire management. But here you see Tom Sears is on the offensive now, chasing down Pennell, and a big slide by Cody.
Yeah, tire management and fuel, as Tom Sears was able to stretch it out that long in just those 2 laps. Rick, he was able to come from 22 seconds back to 19 seconds back, so he's going to be on a bit of a tear. It looks like he's able to get on by that number 28 Haviland machine coming down through the S's. Like you said, it'll be really, really interesting to see just how much time this 14 is able to make up now. Down to 10 seconds, just under 11 seconds, 10.7.
There you can see on the left-hand side, we're going to take a look at lap times here for the next few laps, and there is going to be the battle. 0.8 of a second now the difference between Tom Sears and Cody Pennell, but if you look up at the rest of the drivers, Aiden Norman and Noah Belleville now separated by 7.6 seconds, and over those last 5 laps, Pete, you can see Norman has been consistently slower than Belleville. Last time around, Belleville 1.2 seconds quicker than Aiden Norman.
I'll tell you what, Tom Sears just went into the pink. 1:18.6 was his last lap, his personal best. So, yeah, he's going to be on the charge. He knows just how much time he's got to make up. Rick, he's got 19 laps to do it. If he can stay on this charge, I think he's got a pretty good chance. But right now, Aiden Norman, Noah Belleville, still your 1, 2, 7 seconds between the top 2. And then again, just under 11 back to P3.
If you've just tuned in, you're listening to Pete Ruzick and Rick James in the booth. You're watching the 5th round of Thursday Night Thunder. Josh Garrison has an accident heading into the hairpin, a spin more like it, and Tom Sears gets around him. Pete, the 8-4, just loses control of his Camry. Again, out of the S's, it just seems like the weight gets upset on these race cars.
Yeah, that one area right there where you're really having to straighten out the car to get back to the throttle, it can get loose right there. You're trying to keep it out of the dirt, unfortunately, like what we saw earlier, and get back on the throttle, and then all of a sudden you've got to worry about blowing it up and slowing it up, and it just comes around on you. Going from just a slight turn to straightening it out, and imagine just how wicked loose these cars already are in order to handle every turn.
Ryan Pennell now coming up on Salem's Jason Alexander. Alexander just leaving pit road. Cody Riggs has crashed heavily. The number 3 AC Delco Monte Carlo loses the front end. Have another look. It looks like he just gave it a little too much wheel in that first corner. And the 3 car does exactly that. Goes for a spill in that tire wall. Unforgiving on the Monte Carlo.
Yeah, it just completely shredded the entire front end. You see the damage, and just the full front clip just popped off, unfortunately. So no longer recognizable. But keeping up with this 62, looking pretty strong.
That last time around, Norman able to minimize the gap that Belleville is currently eating up. It's still down to 6 seconds, however. Jason Alexander on cold tires having an incident on this 32nd lap, Pete. And there he is. He just gives it just a bit too much. This is coming out of turn 4, I believe. We just saw Jeremy Brio fall off the racetrack as well. The Pennsylvanian getting a look at that, just climbing right over those curbs, getting a bit too leery in those S's.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. A whole lot of dirt right there. Got very, very lucky, able to just let it coast for just a moment, get off the throttle, stay out of the power, and come on down. But yeah, a little bit too much of the rumble strip. Got the car's balance a little upset, and fortunately enough, he was able to motor on. But, Rick, I'm kind of curious what's happened up there with Tom Sears. We saw him just about 9 seconds behind the leader, now back to almost 15.
Sears, has he had an incident? The 14213 Simware Supra looks all right, but I can't see where he may have fallen off the racetrack or possibly just lost control. Maybe another spin, maybe just trying to go way too quickly. Since lap 30 and now where we're at lap 34, I can't see where he fell off the pit lane, but possibly just a bit of a spill that we missed, but Sears does find himself 8 seconds behind Noah Belleville, who's now climbed within 6 seconds of Aiden Norman. It's so interesting watching these cars so far apart, but when they do get together, you finally do get to see the strategies meet, and these last 15 laps of this 5th round are going to be nail-biting.
I tell you what, Noah Belleville, he just took that last corner. I mean, probably as perfect as you possibly could, before taking this next one, coming down the S's, just hitting the rumble strips on both sides, the rights and the lefts, using them to help that car turn just a little bit while still carrying as much speed as possible. Here, he'll have to apply just a little bit of brake. This is where we've seen multiple cars go around or have issues going off into the sand. Looks like he's going to be able to get on by the 18. You see the fire pop out of the sides. A little bit of a slowdown, or I should say a little bit more. Come on back up off the throttle. No wheel spin, keeping it straight. No tail. He's not. The tail end's not popping out. No fishtails. Looks like he's got this thing on rails as he's going up the hill.
Briley Wright gets around Dustin Painter, who just left pit road. Happy birthday to our good friend Briley Wright, celebrating his birthday the right way, racing with TNT. Tall Bag of Milk has entered the giveaway. Fans, don't forget, put exclamation point TNT giveaway 5 in the chat for your chance to win that Denny Hamlin throwback diecast. You can see it on Rick James TV Twitter and Thursday Night Thunder Twitter as well. Exclamation point TNT giveaway 5 for your chance to win. Aiden Norman leading by 4 seconds over Noah Belleville. Tom Sears now within 7 seconds to second place. These are the points headed into round number 5. We have just over 14 laps to go. Thargrove saying, can we see the gaps between the 41 and the 14 back from Norman? Absolutely. We'll switch the tower from last lap time to gaps along the racetrack. Norman to Belleville, 8 seconds. I'm sorry, 3.7 seconds, pardon me. Sears to Belleville, 8 seconds. Al Simkowski also trying to make up the time between him and Jeremy Brio, 3.7 seconds from the Superflow Chevy to the Mikosuke Chevy. Thargrove says, let's go Norman, cheering on for that 62 machine. Aiden Norman, Pete, comes into this race 6th in the standings. What a race it would be for this rookie to bring home a W in his 5th ever TNT start.
Yeah, I mean, he is very, very fast. He's kind of getting that thing a little more slideways than I probably would, but at the same point, he's watching that gap back to Noah Belleville continue to shrink. Belleville now just 3.4, almost 3.5 seconds back, but Tom Sears also making up 4 seconds in just the last 2 laps. We mentioned just a moment ago, he was 15 seconds back, wondering what happened to him. Did he get damaged? Did he loop it around and that we did not catch it? Now back to 10 plus seconds behind. Tom Sears, he's not going to have a chance on track, but we also got to remember, Rick, his pit strategy. He came down pit road a whole lot later than everybody else. The 62 is still going to have to come down. Noah Belleville is still going to have to come down. This could still be Tom Sears' race to lose.
Jeremy Brio having a crash on this most recent 36th lap of competition. He just gets a little bit loose. And there he goes. He hits that tire, that little tire stack right there. And like an unkempt, curly, red-headed perm, he just goes around and does not stay together. Brio having to get back onto that racetrack, but he keeps it pushing. And then Tristan Catania fell off the racetrack as well. The 48 sits in 10th.
Yeah, 48 coming down through the S's. Very, very slick all the way through here. And it looks like the back end right there looking like it's already wanting to step out. Coming off the last turn. Again, a lot of cars having some issues here. And it looks like is this going to be in the hairpin?
Brio now behind that 48. This is not for position, but Brio sits in 6th, trying to just keep his car pointed in that right move. Behind that white Arcs Chevrolet, Brio trying to finish in the top 5. He finds himself 11 seconds behind Al Simkowski. But how about these two drivers here? The two rookies going to fight for this race win. Noah Belleville in the GoDaddy Impala chasing down Aiden Norman in the 62 Intrepid. Tom Sears 9 seconds behind the top two. It's going to be another barn burner at Sonoma.
Yeah, we were just talking about Noah Belleville being 3.5. Now he's down to 2.5. And Tom Sears from 10.5 down to just about 8.5. These guys are making up time in leaps and bounds to Aiden Norman. 12 laps remaining. Can they make up enough time? I believe Noah Belleville, at the pace he's running, he's got a very, very good shot. We'll have to see if Tom Sears' pitch strategy pays off. Rick, I hate to keep going back to that and sound like a broken record, but man, it kind of is what it is. This 14 may still have it in the bag. We'll have to see.
There is the Southampton, Massachusetts native. He can now be seen in the distance. There you see Dustin Painter, who through resilience has worked his way up to the 13th position. The North Carolinian was stone dead last a few laps into this event, and he has just powered through into the top lucky 13, and it's not out of the realm of possibility that Painter could even challenge for a top 10. Jeremy Brio crashes and jumps to the pits immediately. Let's see what happened to the 74. This is behind Tristan Catania. Does he give it too much? Something went on, and the 74... Oh, Brio just pulls off the racetrack, and he says, I've had enough. He has thrown in the towel on the 38th lap of competition. Tristan Catania sitting 9th. Never good to see a driver just go like that. But Sonoma's not for everybody, Pete.
No, or something may have come up. He was running way too strong for him to just retire. I'd like to kind of give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe something's going on within the household. All these guys do have real lives away from their sim rigs, so hopefully everything's all right for him.
You are too kind. I would never give Jeremy Brio the benefit of the doubt. No, Jeremy, I do hope you're. We're just playing around. We're all great friends. Actually, met Jeremy earlier this year. We went down to Talladega. A lot of us Thursday Night Thunder and the ARCS guys went down to Talladega. So it's a very special bond that we do have with each other. Jeremy Brio, a good tight part of that bond. We might weave a couple of race winners into that TNT fabric the way this one's going. These drivers winless so far in TNT. Both a couple of rookies looking to stun the field. 10 laps remain, and the top two are within 7/10.
Yeah, within 7/10, and Belleville continues to close up. He really got up that hill a whole lot better than the 62 did. They're going to come up the stack, and 41 all over the back end of this Infantry Racing League. Looks like, they're going to come up side by side. The 41's gonna have the advantage coming across the rumble stripes. They made a little bit of contact, gives the 62 some room, so he didn't get shoved into the wall. Great racing with integrity. 41 to the inside one more time, side by side.
Into the S's they go, still side by side. Both of these cars being thrown around. The 6-2 of Norman just gets ahead of Belleville. 9 at the line. 6-2, 4-1, 1-4. Tom Sears now within 3 seconds of these top two. It's going to be amazing, Pete. They are really getting at it now.
Oh, absolutely. You got to just imagine Tom Sears knowing what's going on either through his spotter or through team comms, knowing that these guys are battling it out. That's going to allow him to creep on up further and further. He was 4 seconds, now 3 seconds. He's making up time, and I think with the pace that he's got, and as these guys continue to fight it out, the more the 62 has to look in his rear view, the more the 41 has the chance to attack. That allows Tom Sears to close in the gap, getting closer and closer to that 2-second mark.
The leaders now falling back down into turns 3 and 4. Let's see what happens. Belleville gets around Norman. You just saw it. The 41 comes up on top. Let's have a look at the pass. Noah Belleville coming out of turn number 2, able to seal the move. Looks like Norman just gave it a bit too much. Have a look here, Pete. The 62 possibly giving it a bit too much gas. Tom Sears has now overtaken Aiden Norman as well.
Yeah, I almost wonder if something happened with the 62, something with either his throttle or something with his brake. It's just kind of odd. All of a sudden, he completely fell off the pace. I don't know if he's got to try to save a little gas in order to come up with a top five, top three, whichever. But it's only 19 seconds back to Cody Pennell. Something's happening with the 62.
Getting around the S's and now coming into the hairpin. There you see 4-1, 1-4, your top two. The 6-2 of Aiden Norman slowly and for the moment very lonely into that hairpin. He will come out of the hairpin sitting in the third position, as it were. Cody Pennell 17 seconds behind Aiden Norman, coming to 8 laps to go. Belleville ahead of Sears by 1.5 seconds. 4 laps, the difference on their tires, Pete. The rookie ahead of the two-time champion with 7 laps remaining. Sears really controls his own destiny. He doesn't have to attack just yet. He can just sit there and put on the pressure.
Well, this 41's been riding, really, really fast laps. He was able to keep up with the 62, but now, as you said, he's got Tom Sears right in his rear view. Sears trying to give it a little extra, try to get back on that right rear, get that car to turn. 41's able to extend it a little bit. He's just about lost all the time that he made up when the 41 came across that 3 car. So now, yeah, coming down through the S's. We'll have to see if this 41 is going to have to pit sometime soon, and could that be Aiden Norman's woes as well, where he knows he's got to come down pit road or stay out and just try to come home with a good top 5.
Thargrove in the chat saying it's going to be a 3-way race by the next time around. If they keep it up like this, we'll see just how far they can keep it up like this. Belleville has Sears behind him. 7 laps now remain in this 5th round of Thursday Night Thunder. Up ahead, defending champion Thomas Andrews sits ahead of Tristan Catania by 0.7 of a second. This is the battle for 8th, while the battle for the lead rages on behind.
Yeah, kind of really liking this number 2 MGD car. Kind of brings back memories of Rusty Wallace racing here at Sonoma. A little bit of a difference with that TNT on the hood, but repping the league and doing a pretty good job. Right now sitting in P8 in that deuce right where he qualified. So Rick, he's holding serve for the night so far.
2 ahead of the 48, now moving through these corners. Tristan Catania, Ryan Pennell rounding out the top 10. Back up to Sears ahead of Catania, and the leaders behind them still, Pete. It's getting hairy, it's getting sticky as the sun sets over these California hills. Who's going to come out on top? The 14 Supra on the attack, putting the pressure onto Belleville into the hairpin as the 48 of Catania will do the same. There goes defending champion Thomas Andrews. A spin. There goes Sears. He's lost it. The 2-time champion now spins out of the hairpin after the defending champion gets spun in the hairpin. 6 laps to go, and we stay green at Sonoma.
They're going to stay green because both cars were off the track, and now Noah Belleville in that 41, if he's got the gas, can try to go the distance.
Crash in turn 1. Tristan Catania backs into Thomas Andrews. 2 cars come together. There's the caution. There's the yellow flag for the second time tonight in 44 laps. Noah Belleville, Tom Sears, Aiden Norman, your top 3 when we restart this race. Pete, what an insane few seconds we had. Let's start with Tristan Catania coming together with Tom Sears in the hairpin. Have a look at this. Watch the calamity here. There goes Catania. He sends it in deep on Andrews. And then keep your eye on the yellow car of Sears. Oh, he just gives it a big slide out of the hairpin. Nowhere for Belleville to go. And have another look.
Yeah, 14 throws it to the inside, tries to outbrake. The 41 does a pretty good job, but like you said, just a little bit too much go-go juice coming off the corner. Luckily enough, though, the 41 gave him just a little bit of a love tap, and he was able to complete the spin, grab a gear, and get going.
You see Tristan Catania just gets the car upset, slams hard into the concrete wall, and watch this. He's going to put it in reverse as defending champion. Thomas Andrews comes up to him, and he's pouring salt into the wound of the Season 4 champ. Let's ride on board with Thomas Andrews here. This is going to be a moment here for him.
Yeah, it's got to be one of the most gut-wrenching feelings when you know you've got absolutely nowhere to go. Across the start stripe to come to 6 to go. Hard contact with the wall. And yeah, that deuce.
Big crash there. And a heavy dent for the New Jersey pilot, for a couple of New Jersey pilots there. Thomas Andrews, a recent transplant to the Garden State. He'll be in the pits getting his race car repaired. So that's going to put Noah Belleville at the front of this race. Tom Sears behind him in second. Aiden Norman in the third position. Fans at home, don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss the end of this race. Round 5 in Season 5 is going to come down to the wire between the two-time champion and the rookie at the head of this race. We'll be back in 60 seconds with the restart. Back at the Sonoma Raceway, you're watching the cars race back down to catch up to the pace car. Noah Belleville, Tom Sears, Aiden Norman all came down pit road, as did Cody Pennell in the 2-8. Chicago's Alexander Simkowski did not. Pete, his tires currently 20 laps old. He's going to have some of the oldest tires of anybody out on the racetrack, and it looks like the tires are going to matter more than anything, because here you see Noah Belleville, everybody, the top 3, 4th place, all come down.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Thargrove out there in chat said there's going to be a 3-way race by the next time around if they kept up the racing like they were. Well, I tell you what, he was partially right. Now all the field is racked and stacked back up, Rick, and it looks like just the top 6 are on the lead lap. Belleville, Sears, Zimkowski, Norman, Pennell, and Garrison. You know, that number 84, now he's even got a shot, Rick. But yeah, like you said, Alex Zimkowski out there on the oldest tires. Last time he pit was on lap 27. So when he comes up through those hills, he is going to be the tightest of anybody else once he gets to that top. I think Noah Belleville and Tom Sears are going to be able to put a move on him right from the get-go.
So it's going to be the Chicago pilot leading this race. He did not come down pit road. He is giving it everything but the kitchen sink headed into this final restart. It'll be our first green-white checkered attempt of 3. We'll see just how well the Superflow Impala holds up against the GoDaddy Chevrolet and the 213simware.com Toyota Supra. Round number 5 of Thursday Night Thunder. is going to come down to the wire. Pete, you've got rookies versus two-time champions versus gamblers out on the racetrack, all of them within the top 4. I got to ask you, my friend, who do you got?
Oh man, I'm all about that 14 car. I've watched him race on Saturday night during the Midwest Barbecue Saturday Night Showdown series. I know what he's capable of. I got Tom Sears taking it all the way to the checkers, and he's going to see that flag first, Rick. How about you?
That 14213 Simware Supra looks good, but you got to give it up to the rookie. Here goes the Chicago native. Green flag is out. It's a green-white checker to settle round 5.
Yeah, top 3 able to really scoot away, but I tell you what, that leader, he got one hell of a jump on the rest of the field. He's got to give it just a little extra break to get through, and look at him slideways. 41's going to try to pull the outside. 14's going to try to follow him. 41.99, a little bit of door banging up the second hill. 41 to the outside. 99's got to check up even more. 62's on the prowl.
Just no grip for the 99. Headed into that 7th corner. Belleville leads. Sears behind him. Aiden Norman kicks Al Simkowski down to the 4th position. There goes Sears up the inside, challenging for the lead. Remember, he no longer has the freshest tires out on the racetrack. He is on level pegging with the rookie Belleville, and it's Aiden Norman, another rookie, sitting in 3rd. Al Simkowski with Cody Pennell all up in his rearview mirror. And there's Cody Pennell. He gets into 4th. Simkowski now in 5th. Belleville leading this race. Sears behind him. White flag this time by. There goes Sears. He wiggles under braking. Norman to his inside. Pete, white flag is out this time by.
Yeah, the 41 has seen that trick before. He saw the 14 try to dive to the inside, which is what partially brought this caution out. Not that time. 41 came on down, blocked the 14's late break attempt, and yeah, able to control this race. Now he's got the 62 of Aiden Norman, your pole sitter, right behind. Tom Sears still up 1 spot from where he qualified, sitting P number 3. Even if they finish just like this, it's still going to be a great race for all.
Norman now looking to the inside. Thargrove cheering for him in the chat. He says, come on, Norman. There goes Sears with a wide exit out of turn number 7. Cody Pennell also. Al Simkowski, he's going to finish 5th if he can just hold on for a few more corners. The rookie leading the rookie, and then the 2-time champion sitting in 3rd. Defending champion Thomas Andrews has an incident. He's down to 11th. Noah Belleville making only his 5th full-time start in Thursday Night Thunder, leads the field out of the S's, and he has to control his machine under braking. Tom Sears falls off the racetrack ahead of Cody Pennell, who also falls off the racetrack. Aiden Norman sends it in deep. He turns the rookie Belleville. Norman now takes the lead. Here comes Tom Sears out of the hairpin. Norman puts his foot on the gas. Sears does as well. It'll be a drag race to the line, and it's Aiden Norman who will win round 5 at Sonoma.
Wow, I tell you where, man, that was a gutsy move coming into the hairpin. Man, you got to do what you got to do when it comes to the W. Great race by all involved. But you know that 41 of Noah Belleville is going to feel a bit upset and a bit dejected. But we've seen the bump and run on short tracks. We've seen him at road courses. And that's exactly what happened right there.
Let's have a look. What a final corner. Pete, take us through it.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you, all coming down into this final braking zone, 62 able to keep it on track. You saw the 14 go off track, and here it is, a little bit of a shot. The 41 just takes it to the left rear. 14's going to try to get back in the throttle, coming back up on track. As you said, it's going to be a drag race. But the 62 able to come on, able to guide that wall across the start stripe first. And yeah, he is going to be your Sonoma winner.
Have a listen now with Aiden Norman. Got right to the inside and in the rear of the 41. Donald Ray says he used the 41 as a brake. Well, we'll have to find out what the move was. Tom Sears comes down pit road. Aiden Norman comes down to celebrate his victory. Unofficially, the number 62 gets the W at Sonoma. Double champion Tom Sears will finish in second. Cousin Cody Pennell holds on for a bronze medal. And Aiden Norman will silently celebrate his Thursday Night Thunder victory. Fans at home, don't go anywhere. We're going to have podium interviews in just a moment. Once again, unofficially, your winner in California, Aiden Norman. On the podium now with our unofficial top three in the fifth round of Thursday Night Thunder, starting with Cousin Cody, Good Hope Georgia's Cody Pennell to you, able to hold on for the third position. Cody, round 5 at Sonoma, it's strange to say that a third place finish almost didn't look like a possibility for you.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty excited to even be on the podium, so that was nice. That what happened there at the end. I just I couldn't come to grips with the car on the track tonight. I was kind of all over the place all night. I was able to put down a good qualifying lap, but that was about it. And from that point on, I was just holding up anybody behind me. So, but no, that was a lot of fun. Everybody, I feel like in the top 5 pretty much raced clean. So, looking forward to next week.
We'll see you next week from Talladega. Pete, you've got tonight's silver medalist.
Yeah, Tom Sears, I tell you what, one hell of a race, man. Great job bringing it home. We saw on the very last lap, coming down through the bottom of the S's, you got a little tight, went up towards the wall, but still able to bring it back up, and mostly, great shape. We'll say that, and able to charge on home for a P2. What did you see out your windshield that happened between first and second, and how you feeling about this finish?
First of all, I want to say, Pete, thanks for coming in, joining Rick's stream here. Rick, thank you for the stream and all the stuff you guys do. There on the finish, man. Honestly, that was the first time through practice, through qualifying, practice during the week. That was the first time I messed up that second to last turn. I had been staying out of that, barrier in the real sand the whole time, and I finally missed it right there on the last lap. So if I didn't do that, I probably would have been able to. I would have been a lot closer and not finish just the car link behind there. I gave them a little bit more room because I wasn't sure how far they would, flare out there, wrecking on the hairpin there. So probably could have ran it a lot tighter, but I just really wish the race stayed green. I definitely felt like I had a really good tire strategy, and I felt like I would have had a better shot if it stayed green. But congrats to Aiden on his first TNT win. I know that's his first victory here, and Cody freaking battling and coming home P3, keeping the points real tight. So hats off to those guys. And Noah, he's on a controller, by the way. He's an alien.
Rick James, Aiden Norman, driver 62, is with you.
With our unofficial race winner in the number 62 Infantry Racing League Dodge Intrepid 1, Aiden Norman, getting the win off of a last lap pass in round number 5. A rookie upsets the field. Aiden, take us through that final corner. How did you make that move?
wrong is how I made it. That was not how I intended for that to go, and I really feel out for Noah there. Uh, it was just a bad move on my part.
Headed next week into Talladega, you might feel like you have a target on your back, but you certainly will have a chip on your shoulder. You've boosted yourself into 5th in the point standings. Is there anything that you can take from this race into next week's race at Talladega?
Patience. Again, not how I wanted that to go, and I think I'll definitely be learning a lesson from this, and hopefully nothing like this happens again this season or any seasons past this.
Well, we can't wait to see more of that humility and patience headed into next week at the Super Speedway. But for now, Aiden, go ahead and celebrate what you can of a thrilling race at Sonoma. Congratulations on finishing first.
Thank you.
Pete, what a way to come back to Thursday Night Thunder. What a way for Thursday Night Thunder to come back, I should say, to have you in the booth. Sparks all race long, and losing my voice towards the end of this race. And next week, the action does not stop. How about some plate racing at Talladega?
Plate racing at Talladega, Rick, but on a brand new platform as well. I just realized this is probably the last time that will just be between Twitch and YouTube. Pretty soon, we'll also be adding Roku TV to the mix over on the Sim Racing Network. And you've got your Thursday night slot there, buddy. I've got Shake and Bake on Monday nights. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. We're kicking off a whole new era between a bunch of us streaming and community and league friends. I couldn't be happier, sir.
The hits just keep on coming. They really, really do. And it sounds like a cliche, but this literally is not possible without fans tuning in and week out. To everybody hearing this, thank you so much for tuning in. Round 5 is a success, and we look for more success and more fun with you next week. Give us a follow, give us a like and a subscription, and do the same for my brother Repeat 1975. That's twitch.tv/Repeat 1975. Congrats to Tall Bag of Milk, who wins the Denny Hamlin diecast. He is ineligible for next week's raffle. And until that next race, everybody, please do stay safe. Take care of each other.